This is how you can really prevent high maintenance issue with your Ram 1500 or whatever car you have that has a high mileage, and just by doing these simple things. Welcome back to the channel. So if you got a Ram like me and you got a high mileage, or if you got a car in general with a high mileage, so these are some of the things that could really help you down the line, long term. From, like, I'm not saying that you're not going to come across regular issues. What I'm saying is this would limit your chance of you having to repair your car often. So obviously, yes, you're gonna have issue every now and then, but the thing is, you don't want to have back-to-back issues. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly some of the steps that you should be taking with your Ram or your car, whatever you have that has a high mileage like me. These are some of the steps I'm taking right now with my high mileage Ram that's keeping it on the road and not in the garage. So number one, you gotta know, like, these trucks regular, like, you have to like, off the line, like, the number one thing, you gotta get regular oil change as needed, not when you feel like it or not when you think that you got to get an oil change. And you have to run full synthetic if you got a Ram, or if you got a car, whatever car you got, that whatever high recommended oil that they tell you to use, you got to use that oil. Do not use any off-brand or anything that's not really recommended by that car owner book and stuff like that. So that's the number one thing that's going to help your vehicle from being in the shop back to back, or later on having you getting a Hemi ticks. Like, we know for a fact, like, the Ram 1500 5.7 Hemi is known for the famous Hemi tick. And right now, thank God my truck don't have that, even though I got 142 on the dash right now. Some trucks, believe it or not, with way less mileage than this would have that, because I feel like personally it's because they're using they're using an oil that's not really recommended for you to use. Like, you could use it, but you have to use, like, full synthetic. It's like, you shouldn't use any other brand. Like, full synthetic is what should be, and is what definitely recommended for a 5.7 Hemi, and that's what you should be using. Number two, you gotta regularly, like, do regular stuff like you normally will. A car is like a person. You gotta treat it like you. You know, you gotta eat, you gotta sleep, you gotta do stuff. So when you do an oil change, make sure you inspect stuff like your spark plugs, your radiator hose, simple stuff like that. Your air filter, stuff like that. Your spark plugs too. Sometimes they'll go bad and trigger. Most of the time they'll go back, trigger your check engine light to come on. And you don't really want, once you have that check engine light, when it come on, or whatever it could be, when your check engine light come on, always go to, like, your local AutoZone. Pretty much go there, scan a code, find out what that issue is, get it out, like, at least print out the paper. That way when you take it to the shop, you could be able to tell them what, like what kind of code is throwing and stuff like that. Stuff like that you want to be able to do, like, on some regular. Like, don't wait till 2 months down the line your car break down on you and then you find out that it's because of when your check engine light come on. So me right now, like, I always want, whatever light that come on my dash, I always try to get that checked out as soon as possible, to find out if it's not something that's going to cause any kind of serious threat to my car, or try to get it turned off, turned off. So stuff like that you really want to be on top of. Like, most people don't really, believe it or not, most people, like, don't really do these things. Like, looking at your owner book, and it tells you every milestone you hit, or every miles you hit on your vehicle, or, like, you got to be doing, it's certain things that go bad that has to get changed. Like, you can't wait till, like, those stuff go bad and then you try to change it. Like, you shouldn't do that, because they're going to cost you more money, and, you know, it's going to be more headache for you. So these are just some of the things, simple things that you could really be keeping in mind, like to really be doing. Like these trucks is not really like, a lot of people might talk this about the 5.7 Hemi, this and that, a third, but believe it or not, there's some of these trucks, like it's a lot of these trucks out there, if you really take your time out with any car and you just simply just do the regular maintenance that recommended for this, like whatever car you have, every milestone you hit, like you'll be good. You're not gonna come across like a handful of problems like you normally will with some cars, because like obviously sometimes people don't really keep track of their maintenance and stuff like that on their vehicle. That's why like stuff like these cars start having, they tend to have some kind of problem and stuff like that. So these are just simple things. Anybody, if you own a vehicle and you one of them guys who you work on cars, or you know you like to turn wrenches or something like that, so it's really like you really would know, like these are just like, it's not nothing hard, it's just simple basic knowledge thing. Like you don't even got to know about cars too. Like if you open up your owner book, it will tell you, I think it show you like every mileage when you hit probably 100,000 miles or 200,000 miles, something like that. Most of the time it's like, it will tell you to check this, like for example, check your radiator hose, like inspect your brakes. Like it will tell you how long these things on your car last. That's the whole, it's kind of like an instruction book. Well, not kind of, but something like an instruction book and stuff like that, to where you could be able to keep these things in mind and just keep doing. That's exactly what I do with this truck. I don't put no different kind of oil inside of it. I just use full synthetic. Costs more, but it's worth it because it helped the car run a lot more better. And then also, like, I don't have no Hemi tick. Like even trucks, like I've seen on YouTube, guys with probably less than 100,000 miles having like the Hemi ticks on their truck, because obviously my number one thing I think is like, it's the oil that you use. When you're not using the right oil, it definitely could cause that problem. So, but these are just all simple, like simple knowledge thing. It's not anything, it's not no rocket science for you to really be able to sit there and be like, damn, it's too much for you to do. It's like simple. You just sit down, go through your owner book. If you don't know much about cars, or you can go to your mechanic, they sometimes will be able to tell you things that, or they'll be able to check things that they know might be some kind of repair soon and stuff like that. But this is all simple things you could do to any vehicle. It doesn't have to be a Ram 1500. Any vehicle to really prevent like maintenance, like high maintenance, like problems and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you won't have any, but it's always good for you to have less problem than more. So hopefully this could be able to help somebody. And if you're here on the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.